Well, to celebrate late April Fools, I'm gonna talk about some stupid shit on the internet. We're gonna be watching and responding to 20 questions black people have for white people that BuzzFeed didn't ask. So yeah, these 20 questions are so fucking stupid that even BuzzFeed wouldn't ask them. Let's begin.
Be honest. You hate black people, don't you?
No, I don't hate a race of people. I hate individual people who have done some really fucked up shit. I don't hate people based on their race. I hate them based on their personality and the shit they've done. Why the fuck are you asking people this? Like, you have this like fucking smile on your face like you expect people to answer yes. It's kind of fucked up. It's like, I want you to say you hate black people so that I can label you a racist, even though you may hate black people because of something fucked up happened to you that related to race. And even though that is misguided to hate an entire race based upon it, it might be a little bit more understandable than someone doing it for no reason. But still, it sounds kind of fucking stupid. You're asking a question that's so fucking that's like a loaded question. You're trying to either say, if someone says no, you're going to call them a liar, and if someone says yes, you're going to call them a racist, so there's no way for someone to wriggle out of that.
White people, do you know what gentrification is doing to black neighborhoods?
It's sprucing them up and looking nicer. Like, I'd rather have cafes and stores and apartment complexes occupy places where broken down ghettos once stood. I think anyone in those sort of neighborhoods would sooner kill you than say hello, regardless of race. Like, you can't just blame white people for something because lots of other people sign the paperwork and shit that pushes those movements through. So don't look at one race when the odds are it's a bunch of different people of a bunch of different races signing the paperwork, getting the construction crews, and moving that shit out there.
Do you have any idea?
Why is being a former drug dealer a bad thing, but being a former slave owner totally okay in white America?
It's so fucking stupid. Let me tell you something. Drug dealing has occurred for the past 150 years in our country. Probably thousands of years when it comes to like national, like worldwide. However, a former slave owner, everyone that owns slaves is fucking dead. Everyone that's ever been a slave, when it comes to like actual African American slavery in this country, is also fucking dead. You know how fucking stupid that sounds? Like, well, your great-great-great-granddaddy, whose ideology you have never followed, was a slave owner. So that means you're a piece of shit, despite the fact that him and the slaves he owned are all fucking dead. You know how fucking stupid that sounds? Drug dealers are responsible for people overdosing and dying, and they're also responsible for people getting addicted and committing acts of violence on account of that addiction. But you know, that's not a big deal because some dickhead 250 years ago had 3 slaves. And even though all 3 slaves and that slave owner are fucking dead, we're still gonna fucking label you a racist for it. Fucking moron.
Do you honestly think the structure of America is not based on racism?
Well, I believe as though the mass incarceration rate for African Americans is a little bit unfair, and I feel as though it needs to be looked into more. But think about it. The country isn't entirely based on racism because if it was, we wouldn't have had a black fucking president. We wouldn't have black fucking attorney generals. We wouldn't have fucking black brigadier generals. We wouldn't have anyone of African American descent in a high-ranking position if it was really as racist as you claim it is. Like, seriously, if you looked into any military ranking, or any ranking like CEOs and business rankings, you'll see that some of the people that occupy these high positions are fucking black. So it does not indicate that everything's fucking racist. A person's ability to succeed in this country is not based upon race. It's based upon education, how much money you have, where you grew up from, and your qualifications in a job. If you meet those 4 fucking criteria, I'm pretty sure you can exceed any expectation.
Do you really think you discovered America?
I don't think I personally discovered America. I think it was discovered by the Spaniards, who discovered it after the Vikings, who discovered it after the Indians, who came over here 10,000 fucking years ago on the land bridge between Asia and Alaska. So if anyone discovered it, it's the fucking Indians. And I feel bad that people have fucked them over for so long. Like my grandfather, he's 25% Cherokee. My great-grandmother, she's actually half Cherokee. The thing is, though, you're trying to portray white people as these guys that try to claim responsibility for all the great feats of the world. No. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people know we didn't discover America. It's just the fact is a lot of people claim that we tried to get it more civilized.
Do you really think it's yours?
I don't think it's mine. I think it belongs to the government, since they have tanks and drones and guns and deeds to all the property and shit. That's really all there is to that.
When I'm upset, I'm an angry black man.
Or black woman.
But when you're upset, you're just upset. Aren't you an angry white man?
What?
I guess I would be, but to me you sound pretty upset right fucking now. I'm not going to refer to you as an angry black man, I'm just going to refer to you as some pissed off guy on the internet. Just like this video is making me pissed off because how fucking stupid these questions are.
Why isn't racism illegal?
What?
Because racism... Oh, God. You're making my fucking head hurt with this stupid bullshit. Like, literally, your stupidity is, like, boring into my brain like a fucking power drill is being pressed against my frontal lobe. The reason racism isn't illegal is because even though it's fucked up and even though it's wrong, as long as they're not, like, violating actual laws, like, as long as they're not, like, attacking someone or committing actual hate crimes against someone based upon racism, they literally can't be charged with anything because it's simply not breaking any laws. Like, even if someone's, like, spouting racial profanity, they're just exhibiting their right to freedom of speech, as long as they're not inciting violence against someone. I can't believe you, like, you're an adult, you're probably in your you're probably in your 30s right now when you're recording this video I'm responding to, and you don't know that. Like, I'm pretty sure even a fucking Bing search would answer the fucking question for you.
Why is gaining the black vote so important, but mass incarceration against black people isn't? Why?
Getting the black vote is not really necessarily important. However, a lot of candidates want to get the black vote because it shows that they're not trying to be bigoted towards different ethnicities. That's why that's important. Mass incarceration is important, and I feel as though we should look into it. However, a lot of these cases would quickly just be like, look over, it's like, well, he actually was proven guilty of what he did because his DNA evidence was all over the gun and shit. Like, that's just an example. But thing is, though, if you looked at mass incarceration, you would pretty much find out that 90% of the people who are there for violent crime, regardless of race. Stop trying to make everything into a fucking race issue when a lot of people are mass incarcerated.
Why are all of y'all afraid of black people? I don't.
Not every white person is scared of black people. I'm not really scared of anyone unless they actually have like a gun or a chainsaw or some shit and they're walking towards me with it. At that point, I would be a little bit concerned. Like, if I see a couple of black people walking by, really friendly, they just say, hello, how are you? Like, they just walk by, hello, how are you? They just, on their way after, like, a brief conversation, like, just a brief hello and goodbye. But if there are a bunch of guys dressed like thugs, and they're, like, dressed like fucking gangbangers with red bandanas walking around, pants sagging, and they have, like, a fucking gun dangling halfway out of their pocket, I'm gonna be a little bit fucking scared. Because I don't know what these guys are gonna do. I don't know what their intentions are. That's not based upon race, that's based upon a few certain things I've seen in the news happening to coalesce with this sort of behavior.
I want your purse. I just want the same pay rate.
Oh, bullshit. You have the same pay rate as everyone else, you fucking moron. People I work with right now who are black make the exact same salary as I do for a bi-weekly pay rate. So suggesting that they somehow get paid less if they don't work overtime is fucking stupid. Like, a person's pay rate depends on how much hours they work and how much overtime they get. It's not based upon stupid shit like that.
What are you going to do about systematic racism?
I'm not gonna do a fucking thing. Do you wanna know why? Because it doesn't fucking exist. Think about it. If systematic racism really was a thing that actually happened, wouldn't we actually see a trend in that? Wouldn't we actually see arrest rates in certain neighborhoods actually being much, much higher than they normally should be? I mean, if we did see that sort of shit, it would give more credibility to what you're saying. But there's just no fucking credibility.
I mean, you.
Why must you own all the media outlets?
I don't own any fucking media personally. Like, the only media I have is the media I'm producing right now. And I don't think white people own the fucking media outlets. I think the government owns that. And the government consists of multiple different races. Like, seriously, I'm pretty sure almost every race in this country, along as almost every nationality, exists in government, which controls the media, and pretty much everything that encompasses our country. So it's kind of stupid to say that white people just automatically own all the media outlets. I mean, all the questions you're asking right now can just be swatted away due to how fucking stupid they are. It's like an annoying little fly.
I mean, could we at least have BET back?
You can have BET and you can fucking keep it. You can also take OWN and cram it right up your fucking ass, because honestly, no one wants to hear what Oprah has to say anymore.
Why does every race qualify for reparations except black people?
The only fucking race that qualified for reparations was the Japanese after the World War was over, and it's because they were falsely incarcerated and believed to be spies. The reason black people don't need reparations is because slavery was over hundreds of years ago, whereas the Japanese were imprisoned during the time of war and were paid after the war was over once they discovered these sort of internment camps were inhumane and were completely wrong to have done that to the people who had nothing to do with it. So that's the difference between what happened somewhat recently and what happened in the distant past. Like, apparently you guys seem to lack a perception of linear time, where the past comes before the present, in turn the present comes before the future. But you seem to think that the past is now, that the present is the future, and the future is the present. Well, the future would be the distant future, but nevertheless, you're trying to tell people that they should be treating you as though you're a protected class over shit that happened so long ago. I mean, it comes off as fucking ignorant. Because you're trying way too hard to get something that you don't really need.
A long time ago, really not that long ago, you guys prevented black people from learning how to read and write. But why did you let them keep the Bible?
Because back then, religion was being rammed down everyone's throats regardless of whether or not someone believed in it. And even nowadays, a lot of people can't read and write. Detroit, for example, the fucking literacy rate is like 43%. 40 fucking 3. Which means almost half the people in that fucking city can't read or write. What, you think these people are going to Detroit and slapping books out of their hands saying, don't read that shit? No. Because they're simply too fucking stupid and lazy to read. And this doesn't just apply to black people, this also applies to every race that falls within that 53% in Detroit.
White people, historically, you've never liked black people. But why have you always accepted black people's money?
Historically, not everyone's a racist, you stupid fuck. And people accept money because we're a capitalist country. Money makes the world go round. Money is money.
What does colonization mean to you?
Well, colonization means that people go from one country to another country to set up a city-state in hopes of making a better life for themselves or expanding an ever-growing empire to provide it with new goods and services that wouldn't be available where it already exists. I don't know, it seems to be like the closest definition I could think of.
You do know crack and cocaine are both drugs, right? Can you find out why Bill Clinton thinks one should carry a harsher sentence than the other?
I don't know, I haven't been invited to his crack cocaine parties, but if I ever get an invite, I'll ask him for you.
Now this one is for Flint. When are you going to arrest Governor Snyder?
I think Snyder should pay for what he did, but I don't think that Flint itself should be responsible. I think the city government should be responsible.
So when we talk about slavery, why are you uncomfortable? It's part of American history.
Like, the reason white people are uncomfortable is because some of them still feel guilty about it, despite the fact that they personally had nothing to do with it. People feel uncomfortable about it because they don't want to have something brought up that someone that they might be related to distantly from hundreds of years ago might have had something to do with it. We want to leave it behind because we're trying to embrace the present. We want to learn from history so that the present and future do not become like it. It's like the old proverb, learn from history lest you be doomed to repeat it.
Why do you want to adopt the fun part of black culture, but not the true lifestyle of black?
Like, what is the true lifestyle? I want to know, like, what is the true lifestyle? Like, is there, like, a secret lifestyle that we don't know? Like, you guys don't go to work like everyone else or something? Like, seriously, like, what is the true part? Because, from what I've seen, a lot of my black coworkers, they just go to work like I do, and then they just go home and do whatever they do when they go home. It's not like it's like an entire fucking secret society. Do you know how fucking stupid you sound when you say shit like that?
American.
I gotta know, why do you wear shorts in the wintertime?
Because we don't give a fuck. It's sponsored by like a black business school. It's like, I'm all for business schools, but doesn't that sound kind of racist that it's only for black people? I mean, think about it. There's no school in the world that just tells a black person they can't go, unless it's like owned by a racist, but for some reason they have an entire business school dedicated to one ethnicity. That sounds kind of racist. All I have to say is this video is just complete and utter racist tripe.